A very good morning to all of you. Let's move on to the next topics of our chapter, heat. Today we are going to learn about transfer of heat, and transfer of heat occurs by means of conduction, convection and radiation. So today we will learn about conduction and convection along with some activities about conditions for conduction and conductors and insulators, and the most important, sea breeze and land breeze. Have you ever observed what happens to the hot milk pot that your mother removes from the gas burner after boiling milk, and then she keeps it aside? You must have noticed that the milk pot cools down after some time. And why does this happen? It happens because the heat from the milk pot has been transferred to the surroundings and it has got cooled. So we can say that heat is always transferred from a hot object or an object which is at higher temperature to a cold object or an object which is at lower temperature. And this continues till both the objects attain a common temperature. And this state they are said to be in thermal equilibrium, and the common temperature attained is called the equilibrium temperature. So we can say that heat flows from a hotter object to a colder object till both the objects are of the same temperature, and this phenomena is called thermal equilibrium. As I have said, heat can be transferred in three different ways: conduction, convection and radiation. So let's study about conduction. So the transfer of heat from a hot object to a less hot object or cold object when they are in contact is called conduction of heat. When an object is heated, its molecules receive this heat energy and they will start vibrating faster. And this vibration induces the neighboring molecules to vibrate faster too. And thus heat is transferred from one end of an object to the other. For this, let's do an activity. Take a metal rod and fix both pins using wax along its length like this in the picture. And they should be at different intervals at some distance from each other. And then start heating one end of the rod like this. What will you observe? You will notice that as the rod gets hot, the wax melts and the nails start falling off. And you will also see that the nail which is closest to the flame will fall off first, while the nail which is farthest from the flame falls off the last. Why does this happen? It happened because when the rod is heated, the temperature of the rod near the heated end increases and the molecules at that end start vibrating faster. I have drawn the molecules of the rod here. These red molecules have got the greatest vibration. Why? Because they have got the heat here. This is the end where they have received the heat. And you know that in solids the molecules are compactly packed. So when these molecules have started vibrating, their vibrations got transferred to the next and then to the next and then to the next molecules. So the rod near the heated end increases and the molecules at that end start vibrating faster. And these vibrations are passed along the rod and thus heat is transferred along the length of the rod. So these vibrations are carried over along the length of the rod by means of these compact molecules. The conduction of heat is more effective when the molecules are packed close together. Why? Because the vibrations will be transferred very soon. And this is the reason why conduction is very fast in solids. In a liquid, since the molecules are further apart, there is a little conduction. And in gases, there is almost no conduction because the molecules are far away from each other. So we can say that conduction is the most in solids. For heat to be transferred from one body to another by conduction, two conditions have to be satisfied. The first one is that the two bodies should be in contact. Then only the transfer of heat will occur. And the second thing is the two bodies should be at different temperatures. When there will be difference in temperature, then only the heat energy from the body which is having higher temperature will move on to a body which is having low temperature. The heat transfer will continue as long as there is a difference in temperature. And when the temperature becomes same, the transfer of heat will stop. On the basis of the ability to conduct heat, the materials are classified as conductors and insulators. So to define a conductor, we can say that materials that conduct heat readily are called good conductors of heat. And whereas the materials that do not conduct heat readily are called the bad conductors of heat or insulators. And the example for them are generally all the metals are good conductors of heat, whereas substances like wool, stone, glass, wood, pure water, air, these are the bad conductors or insulators of heat. All liquids and gases are bad conductors of heat. And the exception in case of liquids is mercury, which is a metal and is a good conductor of heat, and therefore it is used in thermometers to measure temperature, and about that we have already learned. Now let's see what are the uses of conductors and insulators. Brass, aluminium and steel vessels, they are used for cooking, and you must be having these vessels at your home. And why they are used? Because they all are made up of substances which are good conductors of heat. Heat quickly reaches the substance being cooked. Copper is a better conductor of heat than most of the metals, and therefore the bottoms of cooking vessels are often made of copper. And besides that, you must have seen the handles of metal cooking vessels are made of wood, bamboo or bakelite. Why? Because these are insulators, they are bad conductors of heat, and because of these materials they heat slowly, and therefore they are very useful and easy to hold even when the vessel is very hot. Blocks of ice are usually covered with cloth or sawdust. What is sawdust? Sawdust are the small pieces of wood that fall like powder. They are used to store ice. Why? Because they prevent the ice from melting quickly. Cold drinks. Cold drinks are kept in thermocol boxes to stop them from becoming warm. So these are certain general examples which are used in our day-to-day life. Let's perform an activity to test that water is a poor conductor of heat. And for this activity, what will we need? We need a test tube, a burner, wax and water. Now what is to be done? For this, we have to put a piece of wax in the test tube and then heat the test tube so that the wax melts and it gets stick to the bottom of the test tube. Then after this, fill 2/3 of the test tube with water. and then heat the test tube near the upper level of water for some time. Not directly where the wax is present, but at the upper end of the test tube, as it is shown in the picture. Then what will you observe? You will notice that the water near the top, it will start boiling after some time, but the wax will not melt. Why? Because water did not transfer the heat from the flame of the burner to the wax. Thus, we can say that the water is a poor conductor of heat since it was not able to transfer the heat from the water to the wax so that it can